2, 1. We are live.
This is 2OF Entertainment.
Well, here we go. It's the man that promises you nothing and delivers. It's the veritable man motor mouth. It's Road Woods who feels the need to call himself Rob Vega. It somehow makes him feel important. Anyway, do have a listen and try not to throw up.
That is just too hip, that music. I'm just telling you.
Dude. It's like a one of those 70s cop shows or something. I don't know.
I feel we should have girls in really tight like pants with those little dancing shoes and one of those shirts that go whatever, and they just should be dancing. You know, I see it in my mind. Yeah, right.
This isn't. No, this isn't a Me Too thing. No, it's not me. It's him. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
We used to, when we did this, when social intercourse first came out, they told me the name and I didn't hear it apparently correctly. And the ad I did was sexual intercourse for it. And I put it out there. And then I got told that it was called social intercourse. And I was like, who the hell's going to watch that show? So
I miss the days. And I mean, I'm still not quite long in the tooth, so I can imagine the longer in the tooth you are, the more you feel this way. But even I do miss the days when people, I feel, could express themselves more freely.
Right.
And the reason why I think it's important for people to express themselves is because we live in a world where everybody is so worried about what everybody else thinks. So that what happens is either someone says something apparently very inappropriate, because I can promise you everyone's thinking inappropriate stuff. That hasn't changed at all.
That's true.
So all that we're doing right now is we're just denying that it even happens.
Correct.
And the problem, I've always felt, the problem with shutting down what might be termed as inappropriate speech, and I mean all speech, even horrible rhetoric, because there's no line. There's no line. You can't say, well, that's good, that's bad. Who decides that? So it's either free or it's not. And the problem I've always felt with shutting it down is it goes inside that person's mind and it grows like Medusa. You cut the head off and then it grows other things. And it starts to become more conspiratorial and grows and grows and grows because it's a bad thought and it doesn't feel very accepted. So it just gets worse and worse and worse. However, if you get that person into the conversation, and that might even be me or you, and you pop that opinion out there, as horrendous as it might be, but you feel free to do it, I think we can all have a chat about it. All right, Steve, look, I don't think it's good for you to fiddle with things like that, and we can have a little chat about that. But you not saying it, or you or me not bringing it up, doesn't mean we're not thinking it. And I think if you're not allowed to express yourself, I think it makes I believe it makes the problem get worse, and I believe it makes your fringe elements angrier and worse because they've got nowhere to go. They've got nowhere to go with those ideas. Those ideas don't just go disappear because certain people say, well, those are offensive and you shouldn't say that. Okay, well, we're not saying it, but it's still there. They haven't gone away. It hasn't changed, and they just get worse. I don't know. Yeah. So they don't get socially corrected. Nothing. You can't talk about them. So
here's the part of the issue.
That wasn't even what I wanted to talk about. But let's just see where this goes.
We'll follow this, and we'll get into the other one. The problem with not being able to say what you think. I mean, granted, you can't go to a crowded firehouse and yell movie. That's terrible. You never do that. However,
I love that. I like that. I see what you did there. Very good. Very good.
All right. Thank you. I'm here till Thursday. Tip your staff. But here's what's really interesting is that, as your point is, everybody's thinking it. Everybody wants to say it. I was always said, my mom said to me when I was a kid, I have no filter. And I don't really care if I offend somebody. And if they go, I don't care. I've offended you. You're just a pussy. Get the fuck out of my face. Full stop. Like you're weak and I can't be with you. And to your other point, if people could get things out and say, like I was saying, that music reminds me of girls in the 60s dancing, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Right.
But you're right. It does.
That's what it reminds me of. So
which is fine.
If that offends somebody, go play my favorite game. Go pound salt. I mean, I don't care that I offended you. I don't care. I don't probably like you or know you. So I'm good with that. And my job as a human being, though, is not to make sure that everything I say is correct, so I don't offend 8 billion people. My job as a human being is to be the best human being I can be. And if I have a thought, it's up to me then to say, do I want to say that thought or not? And, if I'm with my mates and we're smoking cigars, everything's on the table. Talk about whatever you want to talk about.
But that's honest. That's good. That's good.
But that's how it should be, honest dialogue.
That's exactly how it should be. Yeah.
And people don't have that today because they're scared that they're going to offend somebody. I've gone to dinners and I've said stuff and people just look at me horrified. And I'm like, what's wrong?
Look, Steve,
I can't,
I just say this. I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. As an adult, you've got to learn or not to read a room or just figure out, this is how you make friends. This is how you run businesses. You work with people, and you will figure out soon enough. You'll figure out, okay, that doesn't work, or that works, or whatever. But you've got to be able to say it. And I think if you just shut things down, you get to a point where people don't actually know what the hell they're supposed to say, and I think it makes people angry. And I think what you're trying to do, maybe what you're trying to do by stopping people saying things and not offending people is, do you not want them to think that? Do you not want them to be that way? Because what is the point of? So if someone stands up and says something particularly racist or particularly bigotist or chauvinist, or they say that in polite company, it has been my experience when people have said that, a lot of the time they're not even quite sure what they're saying or the implication. So now you say, all right, Steve, so you think all short people should be guillotined at dawn? Well, you see, that's a bit of a problem because, my wife is short and so is yours. And you go, oh, I see what you're doing. I see. So the point is when you put those out there, maybe we can chat about them. But when they sit inside your brain and now you just think all short people should be guillotined and that's what and one day you might even do it. It's not fixing the problem. It's not fixing the problem. And why do we have support groups? What are support groups? When you see all these people sitting around saying, and they share things, what do they do that for? They're doing that so they don't feel so alone. Whatever they've gone through, if they're war veterans or they've been through a traumatic event or they've lost a limb, the amputee group or the war group or the Alcohol Anonymous group, whatever it is, you want to be with a bunch of people and you don't want to feel so alone. So you want to be able to put that idea out there freely, and then someone goes, oh, I thought that too, or I felt that, and you go, it's not just me. And this is what, if I'm not mistaken, this is what the basis for a support group is. It helps mental healing. It helps people. They go, oh, they're part of a community, and it can be uplifting, it can be encouraging, and it can be relieving. You think, okay, so there are other people who've got 6 toes. It's not just me. I'm not alone in the desert with 6 toes. So what does that mean about free speech? What I mean is, there's a connect there. If you deny people the ability in society to speak, you're shutting them down. You're isolating them, and they just go away, and the thing gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And they don't know. They may put an idea out there, maybe to see if it's okay. How do they know if it's okay or not? If they can't express it, how would they know? They wouldn't know. They've just heard.
Yeah, but the best view. So basically, what you're saying is kind of what I'm saying is venting is good. Like if you don't have somebody you can vent, you can't vent to. Like if something happens and you can't have a mate or somebody. And when I say mate people, that means it could be a friend. Okay, I'm just using the European term because we have a lot of fans in Europe. But if I don't have a mate that I can vent to about something, hence why we smoke cigars. Because why? We can all vent to each other because it's a brotherhood. It's or a sisterhood if there's girls there. But we can talk about whatever and everybody gets to vent. And it's nice because everyone by the time you're done, you're like, it's great.
It's going to lead me on to myself. I've realized there's a way I can jump into the topic today with what you just said. But before I do that, it's like, imagine it's the pineapple on pizza support group, and you can
should be yelling.
No, but hang on. Everybody sits down and welcome. Hi, Steve. Hello, I'm John. I'm Michael. Hi. I like pineapples on pizzas. Hello, Steve. You like pineapples on pizzas? And I use that as a funny example, but it could be something else, obviously. And you can put it out there and you go, oh, there are other people. Oh, there are other people who like pineapples on pizzas. I'm
that
not
shall be
completely
guillotined
mad.
at dawn. Right.
Yes. Along with the short people. Yes. But
by the way,
this is,
I do have a question for you, because this is a very important question, because you're talking about them. You talked about short people. If a short person waves at you, do you know what you call that?
Oh, no.
A microwave. Just trying to help out. Well, you brought up short people. Do you remember the song by Randy Newman? Do you remember the song by Randy Newman called "Short People"? Short
I do.
People got, yeah, that song was too long. That song was too long. Anyway, I
will say this. I will say this. I was speaking. Sorry, we're just on the short thing, so I'll just carry on with that.
Sure.
We've got this for people who know what cricket is. It's I guess it's. Yeah, all right. You know or you don't. All right. So we've got a captain here. We got a little guy. He's the captain, and he's 5'4", and he's the captain of the national cricket team. And it is. And one of the competitions that the cricket is involved in is a thing called T20. It's a 20-over competition. It's actually, they just had the T20 championship, I think, in the US to try and get people interested in TV rights and money. That's what's really going on. Okay, it's money. It's all about money. It's got nothing to do with cricket. Let's be honest. Yeah, exactly. So they had an auction where the players are there, and they literally auction them. It's how they get these contracts. Weird, I know. And so I ran a story in which I said, and this is true. This guy, this captain of the South African cricket team, didn't get a bid. They didn't bid on him. No, and he's the captain.
Really?
And around the world, in the Indian leagues or whatever, the IPL, big money. They didn't bet on him, and we've got something here as well, same kind of league. So I ran a story and I said, well, they didn't think he was there until all the players stood up and left, and
he was by himself.
He's short. There you go. Guys, they didn't think he was there. No, I'm kidding. Of course I'm kidding. Please.
No,
my God.
You're not. No, you're not. Send all your cards and letters to David.
It was funny.
He's a short guy, wasn't he? So
yes. But you should. But you know, that raises another thing where, I mean, I've been in boarding schools, I've been in the military, I've been in like guy things where the initiation and things happens, and the reason why it often happens, and it does lead into, I know I'm dancing around the track here topic wise, but it leads into that because the reason why you prank someone, the reason why a guy pranks someone is you want to see is he funny? Has he got a sense of humor or not? How does he fit into the group? And that's something else that's also being considered offensive and shutting down. Look, hanging him out on the top story by his ankles, not a good thing. I'm just going to say that is you don't want to do that. No. They're talking to someone right now. There's safety issues, and you could. Oh, God, sorry. I mean, you got to be careful.
Hey, listen, don't do that. You slipped. So.
Yeah, but the fun stuff, you got to keep it light, you got to keep it fun. But when people aren't allowed to talk, it gets very serious in here. And that's what I'm saying. You've got to keep it light, put it out there. I mean, look, I don't know about you, but I've got all kinds of stupid crap that's in my head. And sometimes I put it out there and my wife goes, what? And I go, yeah, actually, that was stupid. But
thank you.
Thank you. I've got to be able to do that. In fact, it's the duty of a wife to tell her husband how stupid he is. No, but really, it is. But
I know.
It is in the contract, page 4, subsection 3. But it's true. You need that. You've got to be able to have friends, cigar friends, or whatever. You vent, and the guy goes, "Steve, are you serious?" And you go, and very often, if it's a serious thing, if you're not sure about something, someone will go, "Did you just say that?" And you go, "Yeah, that's a bit stupid, isn't it?" And but if you haven't. If in other company, people you don't know, and you shut that down, you don't know. And that's how, and people don't get to know each other. The fact that you have to go and get some cigars and find some patio somewhere in the woods and all get together and have a beer and a smoke or whatever it is for an opportunity for you to vent is charming, but it's insane. You should be able to just do that in the supermarket. Boom. Oh, he said that short people should be guillotined. Off to the jail for you. This is the problem. We shut things down. We shut them all down. And we've got to, how do you learn how to communicate if you can't communicate, if you're not allowed to communicate? And most of the thoughts we have, I guarantee you, are offensive to most of the world. I guarantee it. the stuff that's floating around in your head is ridiculous.
Oh my God.
And yeah. So what do you do with them? What do you do with them, Steve? Do you go and try and kill people, apparently? You know?
Well, Nunzio and Rocco, that's how they introduce themselves. But anyway, no, I'm old school. I believe if depending on what I'm not going to, there's certain things I know I've never said in my entire life, whether I think them or not. It's just because that's how I was raised. But if I have something to say, I'll say it. And I don't care if I'm like, we should build a stairway to the, Pluto. I'm good with that. I do like short people being guillotined because all the girls on Social Intercourse are all under like 5 foot. Right there. There you go. Anyway, just trying to help out. Vicky's going to see this and have a heart attack and go, Rachel, no.
What are you doing? Oh,
right. No, but I think you do have to be able to vent, have friends that you can vent with. And listen, even if you call a talk show and you say something stupid, it's okay, because that's something stupid. When you start dissecting it, there's probably something very intelligent in the stupid. It's just that you have to find it. And I'm okay with people saying dumb things, because that's what life is. Like, it's just
words.
Fun.
It's words.
Yeah, and that's all it is.
Words.
And that's what I'm saying. It's the, like when we were kids, sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt us. Go with that all the time. My stepson comes home one day and says, the teacher said sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will hurt us. I was on the phone so quick. What words? No. I said, you want to hear some words that are going to hurt you? And like, I went to parent teacher. I went to one. I was never allowed to go to another. And the whole school heard it. And I was like, you teach these kids how to have balls, not be little pussies. And the other thing, which I thought we said was interesting about this little person that plays cricket, because he has to wear, lifts in his shoes just to get to be 5'4", is there was an article today in The Economist talking about Premier Football, and it really relates to all sports.
Yeah.
He said what his goal, one of the guys that owns one of the teams was saying, and this is for cricket, and this is probably for US football and the rest of the world. He said, my goal is to see a game played in Tokyo, and then the next game to be played in South Africa, then the next game is in London, and then the final game is in the United States. So you have 24-hour of football. And cricket's goal is the same thing. They want to have it started, go to India to then hit Japan. And so literally on a Saturday or Sunday or whenever they play, you just watch, you can sit in front of the idiot box, as people would call it back in the day, and just watch that sport for 24 hours. And it's almost that way now. Like I can watch five football, European football on HBO and ESPN for like the full day that starts at, 5 a.m. our time.
24 hours of football.
Yeah.
24 hours of football.
Yeah. That's what they're hoping for.
Right. So that leads me into my next topic, which is great, which is the original topic. Brilliant. Because you brought up sport. There we go. Good. Finally, we got there for 20 minutes. Okay. So it leads me to my whole thing with sport and this business where people are all wrapped up in sport. I'm so glad you brought that up because we've just had, obviously rugby is huge in this country, right? And the Springboks from South Africa are the world champions right now, not by much, mind you. And I mean, in the competition, we had the World Cup last year. We won 3 games in a row, so it was the quarters, the semis, and the finals by 1 point. So it's not like we walked it. It was close, but a point is a point. In any sport, a point is a point, and that's it. And of course, everyone now debates who's the best team. All that crap's going on. It doesn't matter. Any of the teams could have won. That's the point. But this is the bugbear I had. This is what led me to we've gone all around the Mulberry Bush show this morning, or this afternoon, or whenever the hell you're watching this. But this is the point. And it just really got to me how, again, sport's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be enjoyable. You can rib each other, you can tease each other, but it cannot be serious. Like English football is ridiculous. I mean, some of the stadiums, they've got these barriers between them. It's a football match. It's not a war. But then my question is it a war? Maybe it is a war. Maybe we've replaced gladiators with football players. And maybe we don't actually care about football. Maybe we just care about the battle. And this is the thing that annoys me, because I enjoy sometimes particularly cricket. I used to enjoy it because our team is crap now. But so I've been forced to support the land of my birth, which is England. But it still doesn't feel right supporting the English cricket team. Anyway, I digress. The thing is, I enjoy cricket, and I've always enjoyed cricket. It's a very technical game. It is very technical, but I enjoy the skill. It doesn't matter who's playing. Obviously, you want your team to win. You'd be happier, but that team isn't you. You are not the team, and they are not you. And they certainly wouldn't buy you a drink if you saw them in a pub. You don't know them. They don't represent you, and you don't represent them. If they win, it doesn't make you better than someone from another country. But this is what people think. Then when they talk about team ownership, we were in the final. We weren't in the final. They were in the final. You were watching it on your idiot box, as you call it. That's what happened. Now, I'm not taking it. You want to call it we, that's fine. If you're enjoying it, that's fine. If you lose, shrug your shoulders, go about your business, go back to your work and do whatever. But the personal aspect of it is, I find, so maybe I'm just getting grumpier. I find a little ridiculous. Why are you watching the game? Enjoy it, have fun, give the opposing guys a bit of hell. It's not serious. It's not serious. It really isn't. But this is what people do. And I'm wondering, do they care about the actual game?
Right.
Or is it just do they just like, I mean, could the guys just be playing tiddlywinks on the field and they'd be okay with that?
Right.
So it doesn't really matter what the guys on the field are doing, as long as they're beating each other up, there's blood, and somebody wins and somebody loses, and hopefully we win and they lose.
And that's
what does that say?
Can you imagine if they played a real sport? Hey, I have a question for you, though. On what you just said. So now we have the Olympics coming up, right? So now it's not just like, if you will, Man U against Manchester, or Man U against Coventry, or whoever. I know
it's not Man U. Don't call it Man U.
What is it?
Man U, not Man U.
It's Man U and the Keys. Anyway, so
Man United. Think about it.
Manchester United. Yes. Okay. So Manchester United is playing whoever.
Hi.
So, hi everybody. So I understand that. Or it's like football over here, they play, or baseball, or that. Like this year, the NBA, my New York Knicks were making their way through the finals, and they lost. And I stopped watching, but I was not. I was like, the Knicks lost. It was and the Mets never make it to the World Series anymore, so I don't have any hope. But now we're going into the Olympics. So now my question is, to everything you just said, instead of like when I look at the Knicks losing, it's not I didn't lose, I didn't win. It's the Knicks lost.
No, you lost nothing.
I'm a fan,
and you didn't win anything either. Yeah,
I didn't win. I didn't lose. I just got the enjoyment of watching my team on TV. So now we're in the Olympics. So now is it us, or is it our country, or is it the athletes? So how do you think people are looking at that? And first of all, I think the Olympics are the dumbest things now in the world, because it's all professional athletes playing.
I have to say, okay, well, there's a couple of questions there, but I'll start with the first one.
Sure.
Okay. So, well, let me start with the last one first and say this. I agree with you that the Olympics is dumb, because when the Olympics originally were developed in ancient times, it was about athletics.
Right.
That's what it was about. A track. It was about jumping, running. That's about it. It was athletics. How fast could you run? How high could you jump? How long could you run for? Whatever. So you were, in most things, you were competing. It's often said that athletics is the only sport, because you're not, although you're running against other athletes, what you're really running against is time. Right. And that's what you do. And you're competing against height. You're almost competing against yourself. That's what it is. Pushing your own limit, pushing where you can go. That being said, the reason why I agree with you about the Olympics is, I mean, everything is in there. I like tennis, but what the hell is tennis doing in the Olympics? Right. Seriously. And I do martial arts, but I think judo is in there. Why? Yes. What the hell? Why? No, I don't agree with that. I don't believe martial arts should be at the Olympics. I am not disparaging martial arts. I'm a member of that community. But it doesn't belong at the Olympics. What's it got to do with the Olympics? In fact, martial arts, when I had a sensei, he used to say, if you've come here to beat people up, you can leave right now. Gone. Right. Goodbye. Cheers. Yeah. Okay. It's almost like it's a self-fulfillment. It's about managing your ki or your chi or whatever it is, and just, in fact, avoiding fights. I mean, in fact, any proper martial artist will tell you it's about avoiding fights. If a guy thinks he can beat you up, you got it, buddy. And if that stops the fight, great, perfect. Right. It's about keeping your ego in check, but it's got nothing to do with the Olympic spirit. Zero. So that for me is ridiculous. Gymnastics, okay. Swimming, all right, maybe it's racing in water. I get that, but some of the other sports, I mean, it's just extended. And it's not athletics sport anymore. It's a sporting event. Yeah, badminton.
And here's the thing: so we have the horses in the Olympics, the equestrians. And now I like horses. I'm all for them, but I'm just like, but
the Olympics.
I'm like, but you're not doing shit. It's the horse doing all the work. You're just. I mean, I know they do. The rider does stuff, but really, if your horse sucks, it sucks. You can't go and like, okay,
it's like Formula One. Like Formula One, if your car sucks, you're done. I mean, that's just
that's just the way it works, right? So it's the same thing. So I'm like, I don't get that. I mean, now if you want to talk about a real Olympic sport, curling, of course, that should be even in the Summer Olympics because that's a manly sport. But I mean, some of these sports are just crazy that they're. I look at this and I'm like underwater, they do the ballet in the water. I'm like,
synchronized swimming.
Thank you very much. I'm like, that's a sport. When did this become a sport?
There's a no. I believe. I don't know if this is true. I'm not even Googling this. I don't care. But I seem to recall recently reading that male synchronized swimming is now going to make an appearance at the next Olympics. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. I think that's true for the first time. Just for you, Steve. I think you were feeling excluded.
I might hope we were all just excluded.
Crazy.
UK male synchronized swimmer team fights for the Olympics. Oh my God! So yes, they are. So to all our fans in Key West, congratulations! You now have something to watch the Olympics.
Look, just to be clear about this, I think synchronized swimming is fantastic. It's nothing against synchronized swimming,
right?
But, Steve, you just want to give me a second. Just talk amongst yourselves. I'm just going to. Okay. He's stopped now. I've got a little Daxi who's weighing in on the synchronized swimming. So yeah, it's not about, to be clear. It's not. I'm not disparaging martial arts clearly because I mean I'm part of it. I think it's great. Horse riding, fantastic. Horseback riding, because you've got to ride on the back. I mean, Michael McIntyre, whatever his name is, goes on about that. It's a joke, by the way. It is a joke. We all know what horseback.
It's called dressage.
Yes, dressage.
See, that's I like the old Olympic. I'm talking about the old Olympics back in the day when I was just an embryo. In the Greek Olympics, everyone was naked and only virgins can go.
Did you meet the gladiators when you were a kid?
They were so wonderful and everything. No, the Olympics were much different because the Olympics. I read history about the Olympics. It was just
Greeks to me,
and they can't leave their brothers behind. But anyway, the nice thing about we'll go next week. The nice thing about the Olympics back then, like you said, it really was about athletics and who's stronger and who's this.
Yeah.
But what fascinated me when I was reading the history about it, it was that the Olympians would perform naked. You competed naked, which I didn't understand why, but that was because to show off the physique. And only female virgins were allowed to go in with the men. And I thought that was also interesting. I know, right? And I'm thinking, how do you know she's a virgin? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, it was sort of like, that's really interesting. So
I'm sorry, I'm just getting a vision of a guy running the 100 meters naked.
And his balls going
shit is flying. I mean, that's got to be really. I'm just like,
I'm thinking,
wow,
that hurts. Yeah, but I'm like, okay. And over the years, we've made it a little better. Like I remember watching it as a kid. It was great. Then 1972 happened with the Israeli athletes. Not so great. And then really after that, all of a sudden in the 80s, it became very much more corporate, more professional athletes because we had basketball and who got to get play? The NBA players. So now it wasn't amateurs anymore. It's even though Russia was, professional the whole time. And it got to a point where now I don't even watch it. When people go, oh, we have so many, I don't care. I stopped. I gave up watching it 25, 30 years ago, maybe even longer. Because I'm like, it's nothing. It's just a big PR campaign for absolutely nothing. And that's it.
But wouldn't you say, and let's get back to my thing about sport, it ties in, because I'm just trying to go back to the topic here.
I know.
But it does speak to the topic in that it's the age of professionalism. That's what it is.
Right.
Or the professional era. It's not just the Olympics. It's every sport. I mean, when I used to watch rugby, that's a proper man sport, by the way, not that padded shit. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. I'm not getting into that. You know, where people literally, we got a guy last weekend who got rolled on and he's cracked his tibia. I mean, you know, it's crazy. I mean, these guys smash into each other.
Oh, I know.
Anyway, I used to watch these games as a kid, and we had a great. The rugby teams were fantastic. They were brutal, but they got paid nothing. They worked as an accountant and as a whatever. They ran their own business or whatever it is, doctor, and then their side hustle was playing for the national team. Right. Whereas now, that is a job. That is it's all paid. It's huge money, and it does get onto my thing about sport. And it's difficult. It's difficult for me to love a sport when I'm watching people that are literally, in my opinion, overpaid, and they're children and they're getting paid a shitload of money, and I'm wondering where their allegiances actually lie, because they move around from club to club to club to club to club. They don't give a shit about the club they're playing at. Oh, I'm a Man United player. I'm a Chelsea player. You don't care about Chelsea. You don't care about Man United. I mean, I was born in the south of London. I suppose Chelsea might be my football team. But they've got people from all over the world playing for those teams. There's no connection. So if I'm supporting the Chelsea football team, for example, playing Man United, and 10 of them don't come from Chelsea, what am I supporting? Who am I supporting? What is it that I'm supporting? Because even if they win, they've got nothing to do with the town. Nothing. Zero. So what is it? Okay, so I don't have my people, my town being represented. And then added to which they're all overpaid. And then I go to the football ground and it's a war instead of we're not enjoying the game. So what am I even involved as a fan with that sport at all? Which speaks to your point about why would I watch the Olympics now? I don't know maybe some guys have got designer drugs that can't be detected, and some do and some don't, but it's a mess.
It's even become a big political statement. You know, like when we boycotted Russia and we did this. Listen, stop boycotting. These people train. Let them go to the Olympics.
Yeah, I agree.
And the Olympics are supposed to be like, it's this one big thing that we do as a globe. We can't even get that right. We'd screw up masturbation as a globe. But anyway, they can't even get it.
We have.
I'm sure we have. But I've watched this and I'm just like, how stupid are you people? Like, you're the dumbest thing in the world. It's supposed to be the world comes together. Because two countries are at war, that does not mean their people cannot go to the Olympics. It's not like they're going to go to war at the Olympics. So
it is pretty sad. I do feel sad for those athletes. I mean, I train with a guy who was an Olympic athlete, 100-meter athlete from this country, and he. I mean, it's heartbreaking because obviously athletes. It's quite a small community globally. It's actually quite a small. They all know each other. Strangely enough, it's a brotherhood in a way, or a sisterhood, or a non-binary hood, or whatever the fuck it is. The thing is, they all know each other, and they all they support each other. They will compete, but they support each other. I mean, Usain Bolt comes out to South Africa quite a lot. Him and Wade van Niekerk are mates. I mean, it's just the way it works. It's a good community. But he was saying that he knows some Russian athletes. He knows quite a few Russian athletes, and they are not. Who gives a shit what their opinion is about the war? What does that even mean? They're not politicians. I'm sure they're not happy about it. But what their opinion? Look, I'm not saying the war's good either, but does it mean that denies them an opportunity to run? They've trained their whole life for it, and they go. If someone says this to them, and they say, "Are you in favor of the war? Yes or no?" and they go, "I don't want to comment. I'm not a warrior. This isn't my wheelhouse. Thank you very much. You're in favor of it. You're banned." Right. What does that mean? Why do they have to proffer an opinion as a professional athlete in order to compete? That doesn't make sense to me at all. That's ridiculous. I don't care I don't care what your opinion is. Get on the track for the sake of the sport that we all love. Apparently, just get on the field and run. Put a blue flag on. Put a yellow flag. I don't care. Run. Just run. Go.
Throw your javelin. Lift your weight. Wrestle who you need to wrestle. Do whatever you need to do. But nobody cares.
Mick Schumacher. Mick Schumacher, who's the son of what I believe to be the greatest Formula One driver in history, Michael Schumacher. I'm a big fan.
Right.
I am big fan of Michael Schumacher, not just because of what he did on the track, just a fantastic human being. But that's for another podcast. But his son Mick, not quite as talented as his dad. I don't think God, if there is such a thing, is talented as Michael Schumacher. This is the fact. Michael Schumacher he comes from another universe. Anyway, so his son Mick was supposed to. He showed up for an event. He was trying out the Formula One circuit
last year.
Yeah, he didn't quite crack it, but so be it. And he's racing in other numbers, Formula 1, 2, 3, or whatever it is. Yeah. And they said to him, "What do you feel about X, Y, and Z?" Because they'd obviously just had a chat with Lewis Hamilton, who's very opinionated. Yeah. And he said, "Look, I'm a driver. I don't want to comment." "Oh, you must have an opinion." And they shut him down. They didn't cancel him, but they gave him such a hard time in the media because he says, "I'm a driver. I'm not a politician." Right. 21 years old or 22 or whatever he was. I thought incredible wisdom. Wow. Michael would be going, exactly. Yep. What does it matter what Mick Schumacher thinks about the migration of wildebeest on the Serengeti? Who cares? He's not a conservationist. He's a driver. So get in the car and go fast so we can all be entertained by your insanity on the track. Go. Correct. That's what I want to see. What does it matter? Why do these people, that's a thing. When in sport did it become such a political thing? Don't you watch sports? When we won the World Cup in 1995, politics in this country was gone, black, white, whatever, gone. We were just green, which is our national color. Everybody was green. It was fantastic. That's why you watch sport. That's what's enjoyable about it. Yes, you don't like losing, but man, when you win, it's fantastic. But you do enjoy the sport. You must enjoy the game. And when you win, it unites people. But then again, you must be a good winner. Congratulate the guy that you've beaten. Be a gentleman about it, because he could have kicked your ass if you had blinked. And that's the way it goes. And next time he probably will, which is charming. It's great. It creates the tension. It's good. But
rivalry is good.
But I will say, when we won the World Cup, in fact, for months after that, there was no one was talking all this political crap, which divides people. That's what support. Oh, it's close. Support. Support. That's what sport is actually supposed to do. One of the positives to it. You're supposed to enjoy it, and when it works, even if you lose. In fact, even if you lose, so what? You've all come together. You've watched your team. They've done well on the global stage. It's fantastic. So they lost, but it was a tough match for their opponent too. So, and this is what sport is supposed to do. It's not supposed to become a political thing. It's not supposed to be turned into a war. It's not personal. Right. It's a I don't know. I suppose it is a battle, but it's not a battle with guns and violence and It's not what it's about.
Yeah. It's a human on the field battle, which is the best battle. But the sports, I think, in
the competition. Yeah.
I think the first one was probably the 32 or 34, whatever, 36 Olympics with Jesse Owens was somewhat political. But then you have to go up into the 1968, where the guys won the track and field for the U.S. and they did the Black Panther sign. And then also in the 60s and 70s, you had Muhammad Ali. So I think all of that kind of made sports where the athletes have an opinion, which I don't really care what their opinion is.
No, I don't.
They have one. If you're my mate, I'm hanging out with you and we're having dinner or something, and you tell me your opinion, that's cool. I want to hear it. Same if you're an actor or an actress, or a thespian. Then I want to hear it. But I really care if you. Oh, stop it! I don't really care if you go onto a talk show and give an opinion. I don't care what your opinion is. You're not the expert unless you have a PhD in that subject. I don't care. I want to hear from the expert. The common man, so to speak. Just because you're a movie star or you're a professional athlete, that doesn't mean you're knowledgeable in it. You can shoot just as much crap as a politician.
And that's what I enjoyed. Well, first of all, I just want to say, that's what I enjoyed about, Ryan Reynolds, the actor, when him and Rob bought that team in Wales, Wrexham, and he was very clear. I mean, he's actually he strikes me as a very decent sort of bloke. Very,
Right.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of people are idiots in the business, but what I enjoyed is he went there and he said, "Look, I know nothing about," and he called it football. He didn't call it soccer, which is interesting. He got into it, but he was humble about it. They bought the team. They were present. They were there, and they said, people said, what do you think about X, Y, and Z? And he says, "I don't know anything. Don't ask me at the moment. I'm just here to absorb and learn and watch the joy on people's faces because they now have a football team with some money." But he didn't take it seriously, but he did take it responsibly. Right. That you can do that. And he enjoyed the experience and he learned and he got a lot out. He seemed to get a lot out of the thing. And it's done a lot for that town. It's done a lot for that team. But the point I'm trying to make is he was very clear about what he did know and what he didn't know. And what he didn't know was pretty much everything when it came to football. But so if he had come along and pretended to know stuff, he would have come across as an idiot, which is what a lot of these sportsmen and actors do. And I really wish they would keep their damn mouths shut. If you're a fantastic actor, you have to be a goofball. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix is batshit crazy, but he's a phenomenal actor. But I don't give a shit what he thinks about the war in Ukraine. I don't. He probably thinks, are there Martians there? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Possibly. But he is, I mean, the Joker, he was incredible. Phenomenal. I mean, it was uncomfortable. He's brilliant. But that's what his skill is, and you stick with that, buddy. You stay with it, and that's fine, or whatever. But somehow we seem to ascribe, and even, I mean, just to be clear, I don't claim to know anything about anything. So this is just me just shooting the breeze. So I am nobody just talking shit about nothing. So just to be clear, so there's no claim to fame or I know what I'm talking about. Most of the time I don't, so that's fine. But these guys, they get a global platform, they succeed in something that's not particularly academic. And now people want to know, what is your thoughts on the environment, on conservation, on world peace, on military strategy? Who gives a shit? What would they know? What would they know? And then you have a thing like the pandemic. Oh, Jesus. And then everybody, my God, everybody. No, but it wasn't just an opinion. It was now fact. And if your opinion doesn't match my opinion and my fact is bigger than your fact, and you know, it's so silly, and we just got stupid fighting stupid. It's just round and round.
Welcome to the globe.
Do what you do. My mother always used to say, you know what? Just find your skill and go with that. Don't worry about the money. If you're any good at it, you should be okay. You should be okay. Maybe not. Well, even road sweeping, you should be fine. I mean, that's a very valuable skill, and you can't be replaced by AI. So, you know, not yet, or maybe a humanoid. But no. You want the interaction with your road sweeper. Hey, John, how you doing? Nice road sweeping today. Yeah. So that's what you want. You want that. You want to just find out what it is. But mate, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and proffer scientific opinions about quantum physics. Are you shitting me? But it would be. That makes more sense to ask me about quantum physics than to ask all these idiots about military strategy or world peace or the environment or global warming or climate change or what do you think this country should invade that country? What the fuck would they know? Do you think this guy should be president? I don't know. I'll vote and I'll thumbsuck something. Oh my God. And then I hear Matthew. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, Matthew McConaughey goes off on everything all the time. But
all right. Now he wants to be the governor of Texas. I'm like,
oh, thank God, be awesome because it'd be weed for everybody. I guess that'll be awesome, and again, football team, it'll be awesome.
What about the president? What about being the president?
Can I tell you something? Between
you couldn't do much worse.
Between Dumb and Dumber, I'll take Matthew McConaughey any day of the week.
Yeah,
fact,
no.
Matthew's my neighbor. You should come over and do the show one day, Matthew. I'm just saying. You come do the show. Anyway, as much as we can go off on Matthew McConaughey, and I think Mr. Vega. Oh, I thought you were just sitting there listening. We have to end the show.
Before you go. And I wanted to say something about Matthew McConaughey, but I actually ran a thing today, and I mentioned on my show that he's thinking of running for office. I think he's going to begin. They've been asking him to do this for a while for some reason. Yeah. He seems to be fairly intelligent and he's well known and he's got money and he's famous and I guess people like him, which kind of worked out for people like Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump. So I mean, there's a precedent there. And I said that that'd be cool. I mean, obviously his slogan will be
I have no
All
idea.
right. That'll be his slogan.
God, okay.
Well, of course that will be his slogan. And then obviously he can be sponsored by Lincoln, right?
Sure.
And what was the other thing? And of course, and the thing I said was, if it didn't work out, well, then he could just go back in time and do it again. And again. You see what I did there? There you go.
I saw what you did. But here's the best part about it before we go. When Texas apparently is going to succeed from the United States, he would be then the president of our country.
But that's true. That's true. My understanding is that Texas never was never conquered or never had to voluntarily join the Union.
We can leave.
And with a little clause, with a little clause that said, if we want to leave, we can. And there is sweet fuck all you can do about it.
That's right.
Am I right? Isn't that right? And I mean, Texas
if I'm not mistaken, yes, we'll have to check the history. Or Matthew can come on and tell us.
I think so.
That's why.
And am I right? And I mean, Texas is like a couple of European countries, so it's big, and so it's got size and a coastline and a space program, and Elon Musk, he's be there soon if he's not there already. There you go. Whoa, you see what's happening? Whoa! All right. No, but hasn't Texas got its own power grid? Isn't it separate from the rest of the country?
I want to say yes, but I'm not sure. But we can do the research for next show and find out. Yeah.
So,
all right. President Matthew McConaughey. All right, Matthew. Way to go, Matthew. Looking forward to it.
Never mind a wall. What Matthew McConaughey should do is run on all right. And then he should say, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Never mind a wall. We're going to build a ditch all around the state. Nice deep ditch.
With alligators.
There you go. Exactly.
I love
it. Exactly.
Awesome. Then you got to be president, dude. Because all right. And we want to interview you before Rogan, just to let you know.
Exactly.
Oh, my God. I love it. Everybody, thank you for watching. Or if you're listening on the podcast, thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We will be back next Sunday. God knows what we're going to talk about, but we'll talk about something. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Leave your comments below. It helps the show. We'll see you all next week. Mr. Vega, always a pleasure. Cheers.
Right back at you.
Thank you so much for listening to this Rolled Woods Rob Vega, whatever the hell he wants to call himself, fellow. You know, this podcast thing, it makes him feel very important, and he's a difficult fellow as it is to deal with. So thank you so much for putting up with him, and do take care.